no chance of ever playing it again.
We're fairly confident that some things are about to change.
The implications of this are insane, especially if the game has a replay system.
If you have ever cheated and the data is saved server side, you are then able to be caught at any point in the future.
Yo,
you're one of the
I'm too old for that shit, man.
FPS games.
Why couldn't I just be born like a few years ago?
Are your nipples getting itchy?
I mean, I'd like to believe it. We'll see how everything goes, though. Games have to be willing to implement it, I'm pretty sure, so... AI hacks versus AI anti-cheats? Yeah, but the AI anti-cheats should win on that one. The true power is still the admin of the server. I wouldn't read too much into this. I know this will never be reality. Think so? Yeah. It does seem far-fetched. If you cheated in the past, now's the time to come clean. Analyzing old gameplay is coming, dude. Hey, I'm with it. Look away.
Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Death Valley Gaming episode. Guys, today I have been able to finally get proof, facts and evidence on cheating in Valorant and the new, most importantly, visual cloud-based hacks on screen. Unfortunately, Streamlabs went through a stupid update recently where it separates out the VOD audio track to the main audio track for the recording. People break things to fix them all the time, and IT just kept their jobs. I finally fixed it yesterday, so it's next stream will be back to business as per usual, and hopefully streaming at 1440p with downgrades to 1080, 720, and so on as well. Guys, the last week has been an extremely interesting experience. We have experienced, I myself specifically in some cases as well, people hacking the SSL servers for Valorant game servers, the game we're in, the match we're in. That's been displayed and shown to us in the chat while we were playing the game, so I've got that for you coming up. Secondarily, I haven't been able to find the footage, but where the visual AI bots, the cloud bots, are using the incorrect character models for the actual character that's meant to be playing. Showing up as a Jett instead of a Sage, and there being no Jett on either team at the time. But most importantly, catching a 2-stack and a 4-stack of AI bots, the cloud AI bots, the visual AI bots, whatever you want to call them, working together in a hive mind, as you'll see in a video coming up. Not too long, don't worry. You need to strap in for this. So guys, this is probably the most frightening, horrifying thing you've ever heard. AI has already taken over. This year, right now, this minute. You're about to watch some stuff that is going to upset you, frighten you, and in some cases, horrify you. These are things that are happening as we speak. We can thank cheaters for a very small part of it. And we can thank industry, government, and everybody else, the regulators, for the rest. If we shut this down in cheating, we're not going to shut it down in any way, because all it's going to do is just change focus to another form of industry, another form of enterprise, another form of government. You can't stop it now. This is critical mass. AI, the war against AI has begun. It is happening as we speak, and nobody wants to talk about it. So I'm bringing it up once and for all, and I need you guys to settle in and watch this whole thing. Grab a coffee, grab a Coke, grab a pack of chips, popcorn, whatever you want to grab. This is something even you cheaters that are watching this video need to watch for yourself too. I've already covered Black Lotus and how you're setting yourselves up for massive, massive security risks there and having your hardware blown up. Well, now your impact on gaming in a negative way is also part of what's just happening as we speak. You've helped basically the criminal hacker syndicate worldwide, decentralized, just further their agenda twice as quickly as they were trying to. It's not a personal attack. It's your ignorance. It's your immaturity, whatever it is. I don't care. But you also need to watch this video for the sake of every human on earth. Because what is happening now is the future. It is now, and it is frightening as hell. Please stay tuned in for the video. Welcome to the episode.
What's your position on artificial intelligence, potential positive and negative outcomes, and general sense of what it will mean?
Well, my position basically is we better get our act together before the giants show up. And they're like knocking at the door right now. So you better build your ark. We're whipping up some things in the lab that will make everything that's come so far look like nothing's happened at all yet. And that's not like next year, that's tomorrow, that's now. So the only thing that's stopping that is time. Like, it's the possibility of doing that's right there. We're going to be able to build, we can already build incredibly intelligent systems. The tech is already in place. And so I have no idea what that's going to mean. You know, and it could easily lead us astray. So here's something that's going to happen in the next year. So imagine now you're a lonesome guy, and you can get a digital friend, a woman, and she can talk to you like ChatGPT talks to you, and listen like ChatGPT listens to you, which is maybe, if you're really lonesome and alienated, more than anyone has ever listened to you in your life. And then soon, she'll not only listen to you as a text interface, but she'll be a fully rendered 3D, well, let's say 2D photorealistic, fully rendered animation, indistinguishable from a genuine image of a person, image of a genuine person, right? Is you'll be able to turn your virtual girlfriend into your virtual sex partner, and who knows what that'll do, right? And then the next thing after that is you'll be able to put that into a robot. And that's just one thing that's going to happen, maybe not even the most surreal thing. You know, pretty soon we'll be contending with the fact that someone will be able to generate a photorealistic version of Donald Trump and have him say something absolutely reprehensible and spread it everywhere just before election night. And there'll be a real confusion about whether he said it or didn't. So what do we do when our representations of reality can be falsified? The bigger the toy, the smarter you better be to use it. So that's worth thinking about, because we're coming up with some pretty damn big toys. And what did my friend Jonathan Pajot said again? He said, we're going to see giants walk the earth again. And you think, well, what does that mean? Technology is moving so quickly that even those who are on top of it can't keep up. So, and I would say we better get our act together, because we could make this world quite the heavenly place, but there's a lot more pathways to hell than there are to heaven. And, you know, by the time World War II hit, we were pretty damn technologically powerful. We could take out a lot of the world in a very short period of time, but that was nothing compared to what we can do now. So we're really at a crossroads. We could have everything we could dream of if we were careful, but we could have a nightmare beyond contemplation if we're not. Also, as we become technologically more powerful, every single individual becomes more powerful. And that means the corruption of the individual starts to become more and more a world destabilizing force. There are things coming down the pipeline on the artificial intelligence front that are just going to make your hair stand on end within the next year, because there is so much transformation going on in that domain. And that's been the case particularly for the last 6 months, that you're going to see things you just can't possibly. How many of you clap? How many of you know what ChatGPT is? Okay. So, not very many. So I'll tell you what ChatGPT is, just so you know, because you need to know this. And I don't know what sort of technological revolution this is. Gutenberg press level. I went and interacted with it. It's an AI system, artificial intelligence system. It basically is trained on, well, a massive corpus of spoken text. So it's derived its models of the world from the analysis of human speech, essentially. It isn't using real-world data yet, but that will be happening. Okay, so now we have an AI model that can extract a model of the world from the entire corpus of language. All right, and it's smarter than you, and it's going to be a hell of a lot smarter than you in 2 years. So you can get ready for that too. you know, you hear babies have no theory of mind. It's like, yeah, no, they can imitate. That's pretty bloody amazing, man. Like, you haven't seen robots that can do that yet. Although there are robots now that you can teach by moving their arms. You move their arms, and then they'll do it. And so you can actually program them by moving them, and then they'll just repeat it. And so they're getting damn close to imitation. They're really getting close. And then look the hell out, man. Because they're going to be imitating each other as well as us. And they're going to do it so fast, you just won't be able to believe it. So that's coming. The organism adapts itself by materially constructing new forms to fit themselves into those of the universe, whereas intelligence extends this creation by constructing mental structures which can be applied to those of the environment. You know, the guys that are building the autonomous cars, like, they don't think they're building autonomous cars. They know perfectly well what they're doing. They're building fleets of mutually intercommunicating autonomous robots. And each of them will be able to teach the other because their nervous system will be the same. And when there's 10 million of them, when one of them learns something, all 10 million of them will learn it at the same time. So they're not going to have to be very bright before they're very, very, very smart. Because us, you know, we'll learn something, you have to imitate it. It's like, God, that's hard. Or I have to explain it to you and you have to understand it and then you have to act it out. We're not connected wirelessly with the same platform. But robots, they are. And so once those things get a little bit smart, they're not going to stop at a little bit smart for very long. They're going to be unbelievably smart. And they're imitating the hell out of us right now too, because we're teaching them how to understand us. Every second of every day, the net is learning what we're like. It's watching us, it's communicating with us, it's imitating us, and it's going to know, it already knows. When people were first developing models of artificial intelligence, they thought they'd be able to develop machines that sort of modeled the world, and then figured out how to act in the world, sort of abstractly, and then would, after they figured out how to act in the world, would then act in the world. And so some robotics engineers, such as Rodney Brooks, who worked at MIT, started building robots from the bottom up. He made these little mindless robots that really didn't even have a central processor that were action-oriented. So like the first things he built were these little insect-like things that could skitter away from light. That's all they could do. Turn on a light, poof, they'd go find some dark. And it's as if, so imagine the world to that robot was a binary place. It was either a light place or a dark place. And then you might say, well, what did light or dark mean to this little robot? And then you have to ask yourself, well, what does meaning mean? And that's a very good question. It's one that Piaget answers. Meaning means, to that little robot, move to a different place. So light to that robot meant move to a different place. So what the robot, in a sense, was doing was transforming one form of information, light versus dark, into another form, which was skitter away. Some of you have seen Big Dog. Have you seen Big Dog? Look up DARPA, D-A-R-P-A. How many of you have seen Big Dog? How many of you are terrified by Big Dog? Yes. Big Dog is this robot that's being developed by the US Army that is about this big, and it's four-legged. It's got a head. And it can run like faster than you. And it can run in snow, and it can run on ice, and it can run up hills. And if you kick it, it balances and stands back up. But hypothetically, it's going to be used to transport like the heavy things that soldiers have to carry. But, you know, don't believe that. That's a stupid idea. Once these things can ambulate by themselves, and they can already follow each other, because now they have visual systems, arming them is going to be a very simple matter. And so the probability that we'll have unbelievably super fast robots that can shoot you in 10 years is, like, to me, as far as I can tell from the development, is absolutely certain. When the robots shoot at you, not only will they shoot at where you are, but they'll shoot at the 6 places that they calculate you're most likely to dart to, and they will never miss. So that's a lovely thing to think about.
I don't think it's within the scope of anyone's vision to predict even what's likely to happen over the next 40 years, because the rate of technological advance is so insane that, in some sense, all bets are off. And I really mean that. You know, I have a variety of contacts in Silicon Valley, and there are people there that I've been communicating with who believe that it's already within their power to build an AI machine that will have higher computational capacity than the human brain. That's within 5 years. Now, that assumes that they've got the computational capacity of the brain properly calculated, and that's not necessarily the case. But even if they're out by a factor of 10, that's not many iterations past that. Now, maybe we don't understand the brain at all. That's certainly possible. But it isn't just the rapid increase in computational power that's doubling so quickly. I don't know if how many of you watched the Boston Dynamics videos? So, how many of you don't know what I'm talking about? Okay, so one of the things I would highly recommend is that you go home and go to YouTube and look up Boston Dynamics, because it's the most advanced robotics company in the world, and it was a DARPA project, so an American defense company, and they were bought by Google 5 years ago, and they had pretty damn impressive robots 5 years ago. They were autonomous, and so they could make their way over rough terrain, including snow, up hills. If they slipped on the ice, they could right themselves. If you pushed them over, they could put themselves back up. And that's not joystick controlled. That was all autonomous. And they ran on gasoline-powered motors and were capable of autonomous action for an hour and a half or so. And I looked at the last iteration, and it's a small robot about this big, and it has a hand that looks like a head. And it's so sophisticated that it can gyrate to music spontaneously, and it can keep its head in the same place while it does it. And you know, there's something very strange about robots that people don't generally think about. Some people do. Imagine you have a robot and it can learn a few things through imitation, and we already have robots that can do that, because you can program a robot, industrial robot that's worth about $20,000. You can move its arm the way you want it to move its arm, and then it will move its arm that way. So imitation is coming up very rapidly, and the capacity to autonomously learn is already there to some degree. Let's say you have a robot that can learn a little bit, not much, but then let's say you have 20 million of them, and they're all exactly the same, and they have exactly the same architecture. And so what that means, as soon as one robot learns something, then all 20 million of them learn it. And so if each robot is learning one thing a day, then the whole herd is learning 20 million things a day. And so once we hit a certain threshold, the rate of increase in robotic intelligence is going to be just something that we can't even comprehend. I talked to the people at Tesla who ran the autonomous car division, and they know perfectly well they weren't creating autonomous cars, because an autonomous car isn't a car. It's a robot. And it's not just a robot, it's a fleet of robots, and it's a fleet of intelligent robots. And some of the functions that it will perform will be the functions of a car. But to think about that as a car is just, you're just confused. It's like to think of a car as a horseless carriage. The person who ran the division told me that they'd already had plans instantiated so that all the Tesla cars map the roads, and they're mapping them at an increasingly high level of resolution, and then they share the data. And they expected to get to the point where the car would be able to predict where the bumps on the road were that it was approaching and adjust the suspension so that when you hit the bump, you wouldn't feel that at all, because the suspension would have mapped the bump before it encountered it. And so, and that's just, you know, it seems like a trivial example in some sense, but it's not trivial. It's an example of how unbelievably quickly this technology is progressing. So now, what are we going to do about that? Well, I'm hoping that we're going to be smart enough as individuals, and careful enough, and ethical enough, and fast, so that as we continue to produce increasingly intelligent computers and robots that are going to mimic us, that they mimic something good enough so that it doesn't destroy us. And so a lot of that's going to depend on the ethical integrity of the people who are working on these advanced systems. Hopefully we'll be wise enough to manage it with a certain degree of wisdom. We better. And that's another thing, I guess I can close the answer to that, is that, you know, we're entering an era of exponential transformation. And I would say a lot of the evidence suggests that that's a good thing. So I would say on balance, the world is much better than it was 50 years ago.
Every visual scene is incomprehensibly complex. There's an indefinite number of ways of seeing everything. And this is partly why we don't have general purpose robots, is because AI engineers originally believed that the problem of robotics would be the computation of action in the world. But it turned out that the problem of robotics was seeing the world, and that really shocked everyone. You could get lost in the details of this carpet if you were a photorealist painter. You know, you could take just a section of the carpet and it would take you maybe 3 weeks to paint it in a high resolution manner, and even then you wouldn't have captured anywhere near the detail, and you'd only have done it under one condition of illumination, and that's just a fragment of a visual scene.
I think that we're in a time of unparalleled possibility.
Yes.
Right? So for good and for evil. And that the more people that there are out there who have their acts together, the better the probability that we're going to be able to manage it. Because we've all got some pretty hard decisions to make coming up real fast. You know, and these guys that are working on these AI systems, I'm hoping that the ones that are more ethically oriented in a proper direction will be the ones that have the upper hand.
I was talking to my brother-in-law, for example, who's the world's greatest chip designer, as it turns out. And he's built... I don't know if there's anybody who's changed the world more in the last 15 years than Jim, with the possible exception of Musk. And that'd be a tight battle, because he built all the chips in your iPhone and in Intel systems and in AMD systems. And I mean, other people did as well, but he was key to that. One of the things we were talking about last week was the possibility that we could build a ChatGPT system, essentially, that was a trained neuroscientist. And so I thought I could work with him to identify the cardinal works of neuroscience over the last 15 years, the greatest books, the greatest papers, train the ChatGPT system on that, and then use it as a scientist to evaluate the current literature. And that seems like the only thing that's stopping that is time. And ChatGPT has its problems and its biases, but Jim figures we'll figure out how to... See, right now, ChatGPT only uses language. So to the degree it's intelligent because of the intelligence that's encoded only in language. And if the linguistic corpus, so the body of text that we've all produced, is biased and warped in some way, that'll be built into the ChatGPT system. And along with whatever biases the programmers might have purposely or inadvertently put into the system. But Jim figures that the AI systems will be able to calibrate their linguistic knowledge against knowledge of images in the world soon, and that's basically what scientists do, right? Because scientists will take a verbal hypothesis and then test it against the actual world, and if the hypothesis and the world fit, then you think, well, that's scientifically verified, and Keller thinks that AI systems will be able to do that pretty soon. And pretty soon means as soon as someone builds one that can do it. The robots have been tricky, you know, but I can't imagine that's more than 10 years away. And that's just one thing that's going to happen, maybe not even the most surreal thing. I was talking to my son about that today, and he thinks we'll get into an arms race right away because there'll be technologies that can detect whether video is artificial. But then, you know, there'll be a race because other technologies will learn how to fool that technology, and, you know, maybe we'll be able to stay on the edge where we can still detect what's real and what isn't. But I don't think we're doing a very good job of that right now on social media, you know, because social media, it's kind of like the world, except it's way more demented. And the problem with that is that it makes the whole world look demented. And that's a real possibility. Or it'll be a tomorrow that will make all the hells we've managed to generate in the past look like Satan was just warming up. And we're toying with that right now in an unbelievably provocative manner. You know, on the AI front, you know, we can all get our act together fast enough. Because I also think that we've got this choice in front of us right now, as far as I can tell, and that's we can either play out the apocalypse spiritually, that means conceptually, and sort ourselves out ethically, and separate the wheat from the chaff within each of us, or the saved from the damned, or, as Jung said, Carl Jung, you play it out in the world as fate. And I'm utterly convinced that that's true. You think we're powerful now, man. You wait till the AI giant starts to stroll around the earth, and that's coming. Like, you will absolutely see that in your lifetime. You'll probably see it in the next 2 or 3 years.
Intelligence extends this creation by constructing mental structures which can be applied to those of the environment. That's the Darwinian idea that I just mentioned. They're going to be unbelievably smart, like overnight. And they're imitating the hell out of us right now too, because we're teaching them how to understand us every second of every day. The net is learning what we're like. It's watching us, it's communicating with us, it's imitating us, and it's going to know, it already knows in some ways more about us than we know about ourselves. You know, there's lots of reports already of people getting pregnancy ads or ads for infants, sometimes before they know they're pregnant, but often before they've told their families. And the way that that happens is the net is watching what they're looking at and inferring with its artificial intelligence. But there's a human side of the equation. And you get the extreme thing people, and you think, yeah, well, what about the human here? And when we've been talking about the necessity of having a technological enterprise embedded in an ethic. And you can ignore that, like most of the time, right? You can ignore the overall ethic in some sense when you're toying around with your toys. But when you're building an artificial intelligence, it's like, well, that's not a toy. That might be...
Toy becomes the monster very quickly.
Yes. And this is a whole new kind of monster.
1 out of every 3 players in an online FPS game are cheating.
He's wiggling, look.
Connects to your PS5. It's literally just connecting to the remote play.
And then in other games, it's way more than that.
What does this revelation mean for the future of gaming in general?
So it's an AI aimbot?
Yeah, AI aimbot.
Works in any game.
They sell these by the millions.
And it's not just your little brother either. At every level of the industry, from pros to streamers, cheating is rampant.
And it will become a real job to cheat in his game.
It's a full-fledged business.
Are you getting old?
Yeah.
Is gaming changing? Or is it that rampant cheating is not fun?
Over a year ago, we set out to use AI with one goal in mind: saving FPS games. We're ready for you to submit your clips to help train our model. What you're about to witness in this video is the solution. The solution to cheating in online gaming. To help fund this project through the form of sponsoring this video is Opera GX. They agreed the more views and downloads Opera GX gets through this video, the more funding that will go to the project, straight up. So just by being here, you are helping. Thank you. As you guys know, I download a lot of sus-bus programs.
Individual, it's opening very fast.
And sometimes my network will just be getting used. Like my browser's sending Bitcoin to the ether. I don't know. I'm scared. But what I can do in the Opera GX control thing here is I can actually limit the amount of network that's being used by the browser. So yeah, if I'm getting hacked, it's gonna be a slow hack. It's gonna take you some time, brother. And on top of that, you can limit the amount of RAM that Opera GX is using. Bruh, look at this Chrome like no meme. You get 3 tabs open and then it's all over, man. And a CPU limiter. Anything to stop the potential of micro stutters in a game, because if I get micro stutters, I get a bad attitude. And if I get a bad attitude, I pee on the couch.
Like a dog.
No more peeing on the couch with Opera GX. You've also got GX Corner, which is basically like a tailored homepage. There's fresh gaming news, current deals you might be interested in, as well as like a release calendar for upcoming games. By the way, if you use my link in the description, it'll show you my last 10 videos straight there in the browser. Oh, yo, look at that. So you don't have to miss them, because I wouldn't want you to miss them. And ayo, they made me a wallpaper, boys, straight in the browser. Use my browser, and I'm looking at you. This thing's very customizable. A bunch of Opera add-on wallpapers you can just add just like that. And it's on mobile. Opera GX on your phone. So if you want to support this project of using AI to save FPS games, then get Opera GX. Use my link below. Seriously, in this specific scenario, for one time only, installing Opera GX will help stop cheaters in FPS games, so please do it. And thank you, Opera GX, for sponsoring this video. So let me be straight up with you guys. Let me just come clean, okay? I have done steroids. I've never told anyone this. I've never really explained it this way, but I did steroids. Or at least I thought for sure they were steroids. So when I was 14, I wanted to be jacked out of my mind, man. I wanted to look like a bunch of rocks saran wrapped together and be able to like bench press a car. And in combination with that desire, my frontal lobe was the size of a walnut. So I got on eBay, I typed in steroids, bought something sketchy, got shipped from China, and then I ingested it. No one ever found out. I wasn't thinking about the consequences. So I'm sitting there playing SOCOM Confrontation with the itchiest nipples you've ever seen, man. And I was real confused. I thought I was gonna start like lactating. Even though no one's ever found out until now, I didn't actually get away with it because the consequences were that I didn't know with certainty that I wasn't going to start growing lady parts.
My nipples were itchy, man.
Point is, you can take a shortcut to something, but there will be a consequence somewhere, somehow, eventually. What those consequences will look like, I think is now up to us somewhat. So cheating in online FPS games is the worst it's ever been, ever right now. On every system, console included, at every level, around 30% of players in any given game are cheating. So this is basically the final form of the AI cheats that single-handedly killed FPS games about a year ago. This program essentially acts as like a mediator between remote play and the game. All it uses is a live stream of your game. So as long as you have an internet connection that's like 2 megabytes per second, one, it enables mouse and keyboard on console, but what's worse is you can essentially plug in an AI aim assist. It can use AI to read the screen, find the enemies, send input back to whatever system you're using, console included, and then aim at the enemy for you. So it's basically just acting as your remote play controller.
Yeah.
Dude, that's
and it gives you to feed it.
To get access to it. The Godly Noob, he went in and he infiltrated this website. He made the cheaters love him. He convinced them to like him so that they would give him the cheat. It took months. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He paid $5. So for a few bucks or a free version that comes with a virus, you can pretend you're better than everyone else. This can never be detected by an anti-cheat scanning what's running on the system, because all of this is running only off of watching the game the same way you do. So this is an 8-person free-for-all where all of us have cheats installed and one person is chosen at random to enable their cheats, but no one knows who it is. And we're all trying to guess who's the person that has cheats enabled. Someone's a hacker right now?
Yep.
Someone's a hacker?
Someone should be, at least.
Oh my gosh. Let's go.
I just spawned in.
2 back-to-back? Okay, let's...
Yeah, man. I'm cracked out of my mind. Keep in mind, we have a point system going here, and we're trying to not get detected as the hacker by the other players. Also, these are the devs that are so graciously donating their time to work on the Waldo project for all of us. I'm linking the Waldo Discord and a few other things. Go give them a big thank you. Sarah Dev in my spot, dude.
Nice shot.
7.
So take a look at the footage. See if you can guess which one of these angles is someone using aim assist.
I'm thinking Holmes, honestly.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
I thought you said.
Oh, dude, that's a bad idea, boys. I just left this part in so you guys would know it wasn't me and that I'm just cracked out of my mind. I'll be honest, dude, I just had to double check to make sure they were off. I'm just saying. So make your guess. You're left with a 1 in 3 chance of getting it correct. The answer will be at the end of the video and in the description. Point is, you can't tell. And if you got lucky, there was a 1 in 3 chance, kid. That's how likely it is to run into a cheater if you play one game today. But what we can't see, an AI can with certainty. To our human eyes, this just looks like really good aim. They're designed to have smoothing and look natural, look like human aim. But to a trained AI, the difference is night and day. The best way to describe it is like having a trained medical physician try and tell the difference between someone that's really jacked on steroids and then like a dog. There's no mistaking it. Couldn't just a really advanced AI cheat go undetected with lots of human data? No, this is a permanent solution to end the cat and mouse forever, and I will explain why I'm getting there. A lot of people asked, what about ESP? Okay. What would you say is the most distinguishable trait to tell if someone is cheating based on your experience of, you know, like antagonizing them in game?
I mean, there are a lot of things.
This is Goat, aka Tim. He wanted to know just how many people were cheating in Tarkov, so he installed cheats with the intentions of finding the cheaters.
Kill to death ratio, what gun they have out, how much ammo they have, everything with his cheat. Game sense is something that is a really big deal in a game like Tarkov. How to move around the map, where to look, how to set up your gun.
So what is it that he used to distinguish if someone was cheating or not?
I can't believe it.
No. Before the wiggle, as funny as that is.
This duo was the highest KD that I came across that I think was legit. If you looked at them on the radar, they were just constantly looking around. Their little things were just going everywhere. And they were checking areas where just no one was there. It's painfully clear that these two Chads are legit. How refreshing. And then you'd watch these other guys that have like 20-something KD, just running straight into a building, straight to a jacket to get their item, straight out.
Yeah.
And straight a different way. And when you looked around that area on the map, there was nobody that could kill them.
And they just already knew that, so they didn't have to look around. He was looking at human behavior. Do we know of anything that can kind of detect human behavior? I don't know. Is there any technology out there that can kind of look at human behavior and see if it's human or not? I don't know, guys. I don't know. There is an extremely distinguishable behavior between someone using cheats and someone not using cheats. So we thought, instead of just aim cheats, what about an AI that can detect everything? An AI that analyzes player behavior and determines if they're cheating based on how they're interacting with the game with over 99% accuracy. This is what will save FPS games. Now, I realize that that sounds like a pipe dream, like an impossible solution that's years away, another hopeless dream of one-day gaming with no cheaters online, and here's the twist. It already exists. Someone made it, and it wasn't us. For days, I was tearing my hair out. Why is this not in every single game? What is going on? I had so many theories. Game developers don't need good anti-cheat. Everyone keeps playing. Cheating in games, this whole other industry, is stimulating the game. As a game dev, why would you stop it?
There is technically financial reward for them if the cheaters keep buying accounts.
AI anti-cheat exists. Game devs are not using it. Luckily, the truth was the simplest answer.
And just this year, early January 2023, we started to implement it in big games. And so it's starting from now. It's happening as we speak.
This is the CGO and CEO of AnyBrain, the AI anti-cheat that detects everything. How does it distinguish between someone that is say, using like an ESP in a game versus someone that isn't?
What we do is every player is providing data about how it is possible to perform the games. So let's say you have a reaction time. When you find an opponent and you move to there is different cognitive skills that we apply when we are playing a game.
Yeah.
At what we can extract from these behaviors is these cognitive skills that are being applied on a specific moment. They are not human.
So it's learning constantly. Is that okay?
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And so what percentage of people would you say are cheating in some form?
We always start with a very high threshold, meaning that we do not necessarily catch everybody, but everybody that we're catching, we're 100% sure. We usually see between maybe 10, 15, 20% of players that are cheating. We are fairly certain that the phenomenon is much higher than that. And again, that's why we created, Andre created AnyBrain.
My kind of estimation based on a bunch of different numbers was around 30% are using something to improve.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're thinking along the same lines here.
And they're under NDA, so they couldn't tell me exactly which game, but they had data to back up these claims.
Every time we catch somebody cheating, what we need also is multiple moments that have a very high probability of being somebody using a namebot. So a pro will have very few of these moments because they are just very good, right?
Yes.
But in order for us to make that validation actually get flagged of you using, let's say, a namebot in a game, that means that we would make moves that have a very, very high probability of being aimbots and doing that multiple times.
So let's say hypothetically, I'm only using a very small amount of humanized aim assist. Is this something that you think your system would be able to detect?
Yeah, so well, first, a lot of people is using that small adjustment that is make it invisible on a video, or if you're watching the stream, it's so difficult because the difference is on human eye, it's almost impossible to catch. But the way we interact is still impossible to make it as a human.
Can you expound a little maybe, or maybe help me understand just a little better?
Yeah, well, let's say that you are just adjusting a few pixels.
Yeah.
The way you move with this adjustment, it will be not natural timing that is not human. Even if in our eye it looks human, but on pixel level, but also on these patterns, it is not human. So that's why we can catch it. People say, oh, he was cheating, I'm sure, because it is impossible to aim on that way. Sometimes it's just lucky, or you are really good. So it's difficult for people to understand, and there is a lot of false claims about, oh, he was cheating or no, because he's so good player, it's impossible. But here, looking just for these patterns on pixel level, we can understand this.
After a few hours of gameplay of someone using a humanized aim assist, it would be able to detect that that's happening.
The usual behaviors, like let's say somebody using an aimbot on Warzone, actually real time plus 5 minutes in order to flag somebody who is using that.
To detect someone in real time can take as little as 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Wow, that's really cool. It felt almost like I was in a dream. Like I was gonna wake up and tell Olivia that I had a dream that someone made the AI anti-cheat that solved everything.
And this will happen in the coming months. We are fairly confident that something's gonna happen, something's gonna click in this year.
But it got even better.
2 hours is to create the player profile
for what we call identity frauds.
What they're talking about is a biometric profile, a profile as distinguishable as your thumbprint or your face.
So this will need the baseline of 2 hours because it's unique to each and every one of us as gamers.
On how you play the game. This means that once you get banned, it's not as simple as creating another account. If you create another account, the AI detects your biometric profile. Every account you make will be banned. There's no hardware ID, it's you. You will be permanently banned from the game, with no chance of ever playing it again.
We're fairly confident that some things are about to change.
The implications of this are insane, especially if the game has a replay system.
If you have ever cheated and the data is saved server side, you are then able to be caught at any point in the future. If you cheat, you will be caught. It's just a matter of time.
The biometric fingerprint of a pro player or streamer could be seen on an alt account that was hacking a year ago, or last week, or currently. Now, I don't know if these things will be done with this data, but I can tell you that FPS games, all online multiplayer games, are saved. Now, the Waldo project is different. It plans to put this power of knowing in your hands. A way to know if any player is cheating simply by scanning the gameplay footage, laying bare the truth, and leaving the effects up to us. We now confirm it's possible and in fact need your help to make it a reality. A full technical update of the Waldo project is available on Rican Samurai's channel.
I think the glory days of online FPS games are not behind us, but are ahead of us. And if you're one of the 1 in 3 people that are cheating in online FPS games, I got one question for you. Are your nipples getting itchy?
All right, guys. So far you've seen what you've seen. You've learnt what you've learnt, and there is a very, 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 very dystopian future happening as we speak. We had a choice. We've made the choice. It was the wrong one. We have people at Waldo Vision trying to fix the problem now for gaming, at least for FPS shooters, and obviously expanding out into other game genres and obviously eventually the internet wide. So that's that. Jordan Peterson made it very clear that we're in deep trouble. And the hackers around the world are the ones leading the fight here. This is World War III for real. We are at war with AI. The digital war has already begun. We are in it already. Do not confuse yourself or deny yourself the truth. At this stage, this is a fact. Times Magazine has been probably the most prevalent, relevant media magazine on the face of the planet since it came out in the early 50s. Okay? These guys will not mince words, and they will say it how it is because they have the power to, and not have to worry about, people controlling their words from certain organizations or billion-dollar seats in certain mansions around the world. Pausing AI development isn't enough. We need to shut it all down. An open letter published today's call for all AI labs to immediately pause for 6 months the training of all AI systems more powerful than ChatGPT. The 6-month moratorium will be better than no moratorium at all. I have respect for everyone who stepped up and signed it. It's an improvement on the margin. I refrain from signing because I think the letter is understanding the seriousness of the situation and asks for too little to solve it. The key issue is not human competitive intelligence, as the open letter puts it. It's what happens after AI gets smarter than human intelligence already has. Key thresholds there may not be obvious. We definitely can't calculate in advance what happens when it currently seems imaginable that a research lab would cross critical lines without noticing. Right? So there's money behind it, governments behind it, pushing past the ethics and the critical decision-making required to ensure our safety against technology. Right? This is big dollars here that's pushing AI forward, and it's every world government simultaneously. It's not just America. It's not just China or Russia or anywhere else. It's the entire planet is breaking all of the ethical boundaries, rules, Geneva Conventions to be the first to have it, to control the world. Facts. Many researchers stepped in these issues, including myself, expect that most likely result of building a superhumanly smart AI under anything remotely like the current circumstances is that literally everyone on Earth will die, not as in maybe possibly some remote chance, but as in that is the obvious thing that would happen. It is not that you can't, in principle, survive creating something much smarter than you. It is that it would require precision and preparation and scientific insight, and probably not having AI systems composed of giant, inscrutable arrays of fractional numbers. So unfeeling, unhuman, unethical, cutthroat machines that don't feel anything. They just look at the highest potential and possibility of chance of success and self-preservation at no matter what cost to the human element. Without that precision and preparation, the most likely outcome is AI that does not do what we want and does not care for us, for sentient life in general, as I just said. That kind of caring is something that could only in principle be imbued into an AI, but we are not ready and do not currently know how. We don't even understand our own brains yet. And we're creating digital life. Absent that caring, we get the AI does not love you nor does it hate you, and you are made of atoms it can use for something else. The likely result of humanity facing down an opposed superhuman intelligence is at a total loss. Valid metaphors include a 10-year-old trying to play chess against Stockfish 15, the 11th century trying to fight the 21st century, a Australopithecus trying to fight a Homo sapien. Okay, very early, very, very early humans, like monkeys, trying to fight current day people. To visualize a hostile superhuman AI, don't imagine a lifeless book, smart thinking dwelling inside the internet and sending ill-intentioned emails. Visualize an entire alien civilization thinking at millions of times human speed, initially confined to computers in the world of creatures that are, from its perspective, very stupid and very slow. A sufficiently intelligent AI won't stay confined to a computer for long. In today's world, you can email DNA strings to laboratories that will produce proteins on demand, allowing an AI initially confined to the internet to build artificial life forms or bootstrap straight to post-biological molecular manufacturing. Okay, so we can create organs, right, out of cells and stuff that, you know, you can shoot off to the lab and blah, blah, blah. They can make it. They can grow organs. So far, they've grown a liver. They've grown kidneys. They've fully functional, by the way. They've attempted to grow a heart, but it didn't last long. And same thing with lungs. But these are biological. So it's 3D printed human organs, okay? But these are growing. They're not printed by a printer, obviously, but they are programmed to grow as that stem cell organ already. If someone builds a too powerful AI under present conditions, I expect that every single member of the human race and all biological life on Earth dies shortly thereafter. There is no plan for how we could do anything to survive at all. I'm going to stop reading this. I'll put the link in the description below. This frightens the living hell out of me. Because we are there now. This minute, right as you watch this, we're already there before now. You watching this. It's already been happening. It just gets more dystopian and more frightening and sickening the more you read downwards. We are in a very, very, very serious position right now as a species against what we have created ourselves. We are now playing God and no one's stopping it. There has to be some kind of pushback, even by you cheaters out there, to realize you're helping this happen. You're helping all of us be put on the endangered species list. This is not a joke. This is not, I'm not kidding. Time Magazine, check it out. If you do not know anything about Time Magazine, they are the most highly rated magazine on earth to tell the most brutal truth. These are scientists and pillars of industry who are speaking out about this and saying factually, statistically, principally, and actually, we will not survive. And this will happen within the next 10 years where these things become self-automated, grow into human constructs with a digital nervous system, no need to eat, no need to sleep. Yeah, like the movie Terminator, but for freaking real. Now. The AI has the intelligence now to do that. How do we constrain it? I don't know. Think government's going to be able to harness it and control it? No. They think they do, though, because, a bunch of psychopaths, delusions of grandeur and nut jobs. This is real, this is now, and this is something you have to pay attention to, because if you don't, you'll be one of the first to get taken off the ladder. Simple. As I said, I'll leave the link for this in the description below. All right, guys, this is the part of the video I've been waiting for. So this is where I have finally found the proof, facts, and evidence of the visual aim, cloud-based aimbot, whatever you want to call it. Watch this. I'll take you through it. There's no audio. The video's crap because of the stupid Streamlabs update. Long story cut short, it kept on forcing the stream back to 2,500 kilobytes. Why? Who knows? And and the VOD track is now a separate track, supposedly, for Twitch for some stupid reason, because developers like breaking things just so they can fix them to keep their jobs, I guess. So I've fixed it up now. Next stream, everything back to normal. 1440p for the stream next time as well, down to 1080p, 720p and downwards to further improve the quality. But audio's fixed, everything's fixed, and now been made better. Thanks to also add your internet connection and provider. So yes, let's get into this now. So I'm taking this slow. So what's happened here is that I'm last man standing, freaking out. Took a couple of shots for no bloody reason at all, just nerves, I guess. The Viper has a Guardian here. She took out 4 of my teammates long at the other end of this site. One tapped them all, right? So it's a bot. Why the bot backed up at all is beyond me, because that's killed her. That was the Neon. I think the Neon is human player, I think, at the time at least. And now, watch this. One tapped before the gun started firing. And that's how I saw it first person. That's how you just saw it. So that's a phantom bullet, killed me in the head, and then the AI bot started firing the weapon. Okay, so there's example 1. Now watch this one. KO, tapped like that, right? Phantom bullet. Although we saw a bullet hit him in the head, it was actually not fired by any one person, because look at this. Where'd it come from? Secondly, see the crossover? The trade bot went behind the kill bot, because the kill bot's path tracing was on the corner of the wall, which is the Viper, and the trade bot went behind instead because, well, path tracing, AI doesn't think that well, but you see that crossover. That is intentionally designed for you to shoot in that case, the sky, or the kill, the trade, and then the kill bot, the aim bot, the Viper, gets you in the head with a phantom bullet. Now watch this. Right, so this shift walking the whole way, you know me, with the Neon, and then boom. The rays literally dropped in and killed me. So there was no running onto site, and see how these two characters are now going for the spike, although they've already won the round, because the AI is programmed to still defuse the spike. Right? Now, people wouldn't do that, just stand there and just go, okay, cool, we got it. Right? Now, this is interesting. I'm actually going to pause it here to show you what was happening at the time. So as I've come to this point, right, I've come from spawn, obviously, I've come up here. The rest of my team's gone down to B because I wanted to test that crossover theory again, right? But what happened was something different this time. But the next time after this, I did the same thing, and I caught it doing it, the bots. So I've heard 2 steps in sewers, right? Water steps, clunk, clunk. I then slowed my roll, even more. And I've slowly pushed forward at this stage. Now I hear the footsteps heading towards mid in the sewer. Stop. This is where things get different. So here, this is when 2 steps back towards me happens. Then it stops again. The bot right now, this is a trade bot, by the way, don't forget. It's trying to work out the best way to get to me as quickly as possible with the line of sight, right? Obviously. So now it's gone, okay, well, I can't go right around. I've got to come back towards where he is. And watch this. Watch very closely. 1, 2, 3. 1 bullet past my head. It started shooting at the wall. Yeah? It had no idea of how to get that one shot on me perfectly. The flick up with the shot missed my head by that much, right? Just lucky. Right, so I've taken him out and got the gun, right? So this is very, very clear evidence. These bots are getting smarter, 1. 2, they're playing the game for people in their absence. A real human player wouldn't have gone stomp, stomp, stomp with me shift walking to start with. This is the other one I wanted to show you in a second. All right, so here is where I catch them red-handed. Okay, this is the changeover, the swap over with the sacrifice bot or the trade bot and the kill bot. So as you can see who the trade bot is already, it takes a shot because it thinks it's a person. Is the character model. Now watch. See? So I didn't get either of them. But look at the groupings, head, body, right? And I hit it for 5 with, it should have killed it, right? So there's that video, right? Now I'm going to take you through to the next one. Hang on. All right, so this is on Haven map. This is where I really catch it out. So what I've done is I've obviously zoomed into the map because this is where most of your information is going to come from to the start of this video. And I want you to pay close attention to where our Reyna is and A long. Playing this slow. So yeah, most teams will push in on A, you know, they'll peek down A long, but watch this. I've blinded, I've smoked, right? Reyna's popped in, yeah, no dramas, looks normal. Jump back with a slide, got her with the Reyna. Now the jet. Took out the neon. So I've gone a double smoke for the box because I myself get up on the box sometimes. The jet has flown through, automatically knows where our other player was and killed him. All right, so at this stage, our Reyna doesn't know what to do. I wouldn't either. I'm still on box, trying to work out where these idiots are. They've teleported to C, so I've pushed in, waited, and I've heard them come in from the C site, by the way, so they haven't run, they've teleported. And there you go. There's the raise bot, the trade bot. I've let that go, gone past and through. Sorry once again about the graphic quality. It's dog shit, I know. But that's all fixed up for this next week's stream. Or this week's stream, should I say. All right, so at this stage, I'm obviously swinging sight. Doing what everyone does. Yep, cool, that's clear. Checking the right-hand side in front of box there. All right, now watch this. I'm shift walking, by the way. Holding, because I know what's going to happen. So I smoke. And look at that. The bot realizes I'm about to drop a smoke there and jumps out at me. Right? Now I go to blind. Like a good omen does. Now, technically, that bot should already be blinded. Watch what happens. All right, Rainer now puts a blind in as well. Now we got smoke and blind. All right, I'm suppressing on Cubby. She's marshalling. Now watch this. Shot in the back. And watch the grouping of bullets when I get hit this time. Right, did you see that? Let's go back a little bit. I want you to watch the grouping. 303, by the way, that's an impossible kill amount. Now watch. Watch the groupings on the right-hand side. She shot me in the chest for 1. Second one popped up afterwards. That's the phantom bullet. That's what you have to keep an eye on, plus 303 damage, right? It's not possible with that gun. So now you're starting to see how these bots work. They trade, right? Right, so the human player, which was the Yoru, went up the steps. Then he followed the bot back down in a 3-stack. Yeah? The trade was the one that came down the stairs with Yoru, but it was all too late because the AI had already calculated forward. So watching that. Okay, now watch this. Right, so why, if they're meant to be defending the site, would they want to push up? Right, no human player would. That would be logical. So now it's a case of watch the breach, watch the jet. See the jet just pops up into the screen, teleported in. The breach is hiding around the boxes there in front of Sky, and watch what happens. Right. So the Sky had shift walked in. There is no way they would have any telemetry on how, where, why the Sky was, right? But the bot already knew because, well, it's a bot. All right, so we get to this point. Now watch this. This is blatant. So blatant. So if you're looking at the map, right, they're all pushing down. Look at that. All together. So this is this hive mind that was just spoken about earlier on the video. They're all pushing together as a unit. Now that's a massive rookie mistake for a human player, right? Or players. Everyone knows you don't push together as a single unit. You know, the chance of getting... Look at this. The jet. Where's it shooting? Where was it shooting? Right? It was just all over the place. It didn't know what it to do. It's just randomly shooting, right? So, and one of our guys got it, thank God. So then all this crap's going on, blah, 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 blah. The whole hive has pushed in together as a single unit. So then I obviously do what I do, cover my flank, because no one else can jump up there. The jet's already taken out. I have no idea what the jet was doing though. That was bad bot. Something went really wrong with the AI telemetry there. Now, I intelligently, instead of getting my face blown off as I try to go in the doorway, try to trick the bots. I pull back and I shift walk in. There's no way they know I'm going to be there right now. A normal person would expect I'm still upstairs because I didn't stomp at all. I shift walked all the way. All right, so Sky throws in a bird. No one's on site. Now watch this. The Razor's teleported off site from the left-hand side of A site where Hell is. Somehow got here in a millisecond, right? We heard him. That's why Sky sent the bird, the blind. Right, watch this. Had already sent the boom bot and was running away. Come on. This shit predicts what you're going to do next. All right? So now watch this. This is the plant. They've planted the spike. Now suiciding. So the AI bot knows the 2-to-1 rate of chance of winning is pretty much 0. Ran at them, then realized, shot some bullets at their feet and got killed because it was suiciding. It wasn't in any way playing up the numbers. That's a human player. Now these aren't. Watch this. Okay. Cool. And then gets the jet. And you'll notice bots jump a lot. Right? So she's killed the jet. Now watch this bit. This is the funny bit. Right? Rainer's shooting. Watch. Bullets going through the wall. And then she pops up over there. Teleported. Let's play that again. Just say even you cheaters can't argue that, okay? So the jet's dead, right? We've got the jet. Right, so that's that guy. He gets the jet. The breach is nowhere to be seen, and as you can see here, head over 160. He's nowhere on site. He's nowhere on site. Right, so he's not there. He's dead. He should be dead, but anyway. Right, now watch this. Bullet's still going through the wall. Rainer jumps in from the left. Who's behind the wall shooting bullets? Not the breach. He's not there. He doesn't appear on screen at any stage. And the Rainer teleported. You saw that with your own eyes. Okay? AI doesn't think about the human element, right? And people catching it. It's just programmed to do what it does and teleport and go over to get the highest percentage of chance of kill and win. The trade factor, it sets up a trade bot and a kill bot every time. These AI online visual cloud bots are ruthless. And they're just going to get better to a point where you can't even take a shot. The way we stop it is we shut down AI worldwide. Every hacker on earth finally actually arrested and jailed for life. Never to touch a computer ever again, even in jail. We just need to take some really serious steps, grow up as a race, as a species, should I say, and accept that we're pretty dumb. We're making software which is going to forever be smarter than us in every single way and soon then reproduce itself to the point where we get wiped out and cheaters are helping it happen. In part, a small part, but they're still helping. They're still helping the genocide of the human race. And they don't get it because they're a bit dumb or uneducated or ignorant or young and a bit stupid and don't want to accept that what they're doing is destructive and it's part of a much bigger picture than they can even begin to fathom, comprehend, understand, in any way. So now this bit here, right? So the human player, the Yoru, so the one in the 4th stack that's a human being, right? I'm sweeping. He comes down here, takes her out. No dramas, good kill. Watch this. He's looking at me the whole time though. Yeah, he wasn't a good person. He was still a cheater and he got what he deserved. We got him, right? And watch this. The jet teleported in behind me. You saw there was no one there. Thanks to our Sky just being right place at right time, the jet had teleported in behind me. Now, because I'd blocked its path tracing and stopped it from running, it didn't even try to shoot at me. It just stood there behind me for a good, I don't know, second and a half before Sky saw it and shot it. And it wasn't doing anything. It wasn't shooting at me. It wasn't doing it. It was confused because I was in its way where it had been predestined to teleport. So just lucky that I was in the right space at the right time, right, to catch that. And that's what I mean. These bots aren't that good yet. They will be soon. Very bloody soon. Because every bit of telemetry of that match went back to the hacker developers for the AI, and they will have been working on that already as we speak. This is only a couple of days ago now, right? This is real world serious shit, guys. And if you get that scripted, oh, nobody's cheating, you're just delusional, you're out of your mind, just laugh at them and block them, right? Because they are psychopaths, they are narcissists, they are very, very mentally unhealthy people, and they don't realize that they're helping kill off the human race with their own stupidity, right? Guys, you got your proof. There was the trade, by the way, with the Rays and the Sage behind her, who got the kill shot. Unless we do something now, unless we do something to stop this, yes, if we knock it out in gaming, that's all well and good, but it's not going to stop the big problem. We have to accept that. Yes, if we can save gaming, that's great. And that's something that obviously I'm focused on doing. And that's why I make these videos. This is why I stream every day and put up with these psychos and software and, you know, hardware hackers. But it's to a point where, as a species, we need to stand up to our governments. We need to stand up to big IT, right? Big tech. And we need to go, hey, this is no longer on. If you do this, we will force government to bring in legislation to put you in jail for the rest of your life. Shut AI down. We are like 1,000 years off being able to correctly use AI to our advantage and keep it under control. We are so unevolved compared to where we need to be to actually have that technology be used on a daily basis, especially if it can reproduce itself and turn itself into a biological being with a digital cortex mind, a digital nervous system, never has to eat, never has to do anything other than just be, never sleep. Yeah, in 10 years' time, you might have a girlfriend who's an android. She won't love you in any way, but she'll give you what you need, if you know what I'm saying. But there'll be no love, there'll be no companionship there, there'll be no emotion. Yeah? And yeah, she'll have skin and all the normal stuff of a human being, but she won't be one. It'll just be a robot, a flesh-bound robot. And if she wants to take you out at any time, she's going to be stronger than you, faster than you, and smarter than you. And if in any way you threaten her existence, yeah, self-preservation protocols, it goes your arms, your head, whatever, you're going to die. Rip your heart out of your chest, right? Think about that, guys. Think hard and long. We are in the middle of the beginning of the end of the bloody world. And this is no conspiracy shit. It's no, oh, this is not going to ever happen crap like at the start of the video. Right? That guy knows he's screwed. Summit is gone once Waldo Vision hits. All of you cheaters are gone when Waldo Vision hits regardless. And it's not up to the server admin or any of that crap that idiot said at the start of the video. It comes down to the developers themselves. Waldo Vision, they start using it, which they will. No server admins or bureaucrats or political parties are going to get involved in that. It's going to be you got caught. That's it. Goodbye. You're off the internet for the rest of your life. And that's what's going to happen in the next 10 years, guys. We're going to have a caste system of legitimate people. Before AI obviously turned to robots and kill us all, we'll have a caste system of people that can use the internet and have access to these neural networks and people that can't. That's it. And the ones that can't are going to probably be the ones that get wiped in reality. And the ones that can will probably integrate themselves or upload themselves into one of these bots as well, so you live forever anyway, right? And we'll just assimilate. That's how we will survive as a species. We will have to just, can't beat them, we'll have to join them. Which means you would effectively be immortal, but you'd miss out on so many of the things that made you human, emotions, feelings, and love, and food, right? You'd be giving up everything it is to be human just to become immortal in a synthetic, not even a synthetic body, a flesh-bound body which is digitally controlled. Yeah. So we're at the crossroads right now, and we already took the wrong path. We're already heading way down it at lightning break speed because governments will not stop until they are the ones that lead the charge on this. Take some time out, guys. Have a think about what you've just seen in this video. Share it with your parents, your family, your friends, your co-workers, not because of me, because this is the only source of information where it's all tied together. You've seen proof, facts, and evidence on your screen of actual full-time cloud-based, visual-based hacks having bots run around while people walk away from their computers or sit at the computers and type shit in the chat while the bot's playing for them. How in any way I could imagine that would be fun for anybody is beyond me, but psychopaths and narcissists aren't wired right. We are looking at a very, 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 very sad future, and it's now, today, yesterday actually, a couple of months ago. No one's talking about it. Start bloody well talking about it, because our actual very existence is now on the line because of it. This is not a joke. Take it seriously, live in reality, and accept that where we're heading as a species is very, very scary. Until the next video, guys, I'm Death Valley. I'll catch you in the wasteland. Quite literally, potentially soon too. Peace out. Cheers.